should be fine. Okay, hold on. Hey, hello everybody. How you doing? Of course, this is Doc G, and I just want to let you know that Hamilton Radio is on updates right now, so we're not going to be doing any live shows for a couple days. Just let you know that. But we're listening right now to Chqnces Chat. We're watching Chqnces Chat with Chance McFadden, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but it also may not be. Welcome, Chance. Oh, Chance, go ahead. Your thing is off. There you go. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
All right. Holy cow, guys! This has been a crazy week. Let's try to bring things up to date. Okay. There's a lot of things we need to bring up to date. Okay. First of all, I am under an NDA and a gag order, and I got them delivered to me by email. The NDA is from the intake officer. He passed that along to me. And hi, Diane. Hi, Suzanne. And the gag order was from, I'll just say, a court. I'll say that, a court. Okay, so what does that mean? That means I can't talk about the event. And but we could talk about a lot of other things. We could talk about legal issues. We can talk about geopolitical stuff. We could talk about the movie that's going on right now. We could talk about the stock market. We can talk about the IRS, but we can't talk about the event. So no rates or dates. But I'm going to tell you something. Hi, Bernadette. How are you? God bless you, Bernadette. And let's bring a few things up to date. Prayers for Bernadette. Prayers for Morris. Prayers for Shelley. Prayers for prayers of thanks to the other Shelley, and prayers for Brother Dave and Dr. Brian and the other people who support the station and give us donations to keep us going. Yes, prayers for Bernadette, absolutely. Hi, Ron, how are you? And we're overwhelmed with the way you guys feel about us, and we feel the same way about you. Hey, Jennifer, North Carolina, good to see you. Here's the thing. So I was in shock Sunday. That's why I didn't do my Sunday show, because I had to sit there and think of how I'm going to approach talking to you and giving you communications without breaking my NDA or my gag order. Now, when I was talking to my wife Sunday on the phone, she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Nothing." And she says, "Well, something's going on. I hear this click, 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 click in the background." And I said, well, there just must be something wrong with the phone or the connection or something. So I blew it off that way. But actually, I know what that is, because I used to be with the Illinois Bureau of Investigation, and we used to tap phones, and that is the noise that makes when you get a counter feed from tapping somebody's phone. That's the telltale sign that your phone is being tapped. Is that click, click, click? Doc, you should know that. You work for the police.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, any news on the Medbeds? Yes. But I can't share it because it's tied in with the event. Okay? Let me just put it to you this way. I got some news 2 days ago that I would just absolutely blow you away. Okay, Larry wants to know my interpretation of how we will be informed for the redemption. Well, that would be, you'll have to refer back to some of my other videos to what I said about that then. Okay. Go on Telegram page. Why? Because I know too much. Okay. I know how this thing's rolling out. And I know. Oh, I love you, kid. You're a good kid. Maui babes. I love you.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes.
I say one thing. I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing about this whole thing. It's been a very intimidating, interesting, stimulating, and exhausting experience for me. Okay. Pay attention to me because I'll be saying stuff that you may not understand. So think, use your head a little bit, use your noggin. But I want to tell you something too. This is something I've been wanting to address. Here comes fascinating, Brian.
I still haven't seen the picture.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Hi. I think I'm going to have to log out and relog back in because
no picture.
You're invisible.
I'm a phantom. I love it.
Oh, okay. Let's talk. Just the stem cell ladies aren't going to be on tonight. Dr. Wiedemann will be on at the end. Dr. Wiedemann's show may end up going private to his YouTube channel and my YouTube channel because we've had problems with YouTube. They don't want you to be healthy. Okay, if they get to understanding that we push health reforms on you people, then they're liable to take me down too. So just know one thing. Oh, and I started taking this. Okay, two things. This is really important. I just got in the orange flavored mineral vitamin drink from Longevity. It's incredible. Okay. It is absolutely incredible. It has an orangey flavor and it's you're in the chat. Okay,
hey,
good.
Wyatt.
Wyatt. Good.
Like
Good.
Orange Crush?
No, yeah, but no, like a real good orange, not Orange Crush, but it's a real good orange. Hi, Pam. There's Barbara. Hey, listen. So it's really good, and I'm telling you, I feel the effects of it already. Okay. Now let's go back to talking about the stem cell patches. If you're going to buy the stem cell patches for 1 month or 2 months, then you might as well just not even get them at all. Okay.
That's what I said.
Why am I saying that? Because Maria number one's mother is showing stability. Instead of declining health, she's showing stability. After 3 months of patches, she's using X39, X49. She's putting them on her belly button. And that's, 3 months, okay? And they say for every 10 years before you could start seeing benefits, you have to use so if you're 80 years old, you're gonna start seeing results in 8 months. I don't believe that. I think it'll be sooner than that, but that's what they say, okay? But if you're going to try it for 1 or 2 months and you're expecting some miraculous results, forget it, okay? Don't even buy them in the first place, okay? Because it's not something you can try. It's something you have to dedicate yourself to. I have dedicated myself to it. And by everybody that I talk to on the phone, they say, you look better, you look younger, you don't look as tired, the bags are gone under your eyes. And I guess here's another thing. I like this. Watch. Okay. Look. No hangy down skin.
No flab, yeah.
Most old men have hangy down skin. Now, I still got my drive-in screen. That's nothing to do with that, but I'm starting to see some of this tighten up too. Okay. Just a little bit, just every day. Hi, Danny. And there's Joey. Research showed Jesus was crucified April 3rd, April 30th, 2025 is Ishtar Day, the day of fertility and eggs. Easter has nothing to do with Jesus. Satanic holiday. Hopefully the truth is revealed. Well, you're right, but I'm going to ask you to do a little further research with the difference in the two calendars that we seem to be going back and forth from. Okay. I will tell you, Wyatt can come on anytime he wants to come on. Wyatt's been told to shut up, just like I have been. And but the grass is green and the sky is blue. Absolutely, Wyatt. I get what you guys got to do is hi. What's up, Jeff? What you got to do is just get out of your head and get into your heart. Turn it over to Source. Turn it over to Jesus. Turn it over to God. Turn it over to whatever you call your ultimate power. Turn it over to that, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is vibration, frequency, and event driven. If you knew what I knew, you guys wouldn't be freaking out anymore. You wouldn't be freaking out. I'm not freaking out. Yeah, I'm in the same financial shape I was on Tuesday's show, but I'm not freaking out because I was put under a gag order and an NDA for a reason. Yeah, Brian could now be called the Fascinating Phantom. That's right. Brian and I have a friend down at Vibe Event Frequency Driven 100%. That's what Wyatt says. Wyatt agrees with me 100%. Thank you, Wyatt. I just love Wyatt. He's just the best, And when he was going under Captain Marvel Jr., I used to follow him before I was even on the air, and he was incredibly solid. He was incredibly solid, and you knew that he was not shooting from the gut. He was shooting from the hip. Okay, he was a straight shooter, and that's all we've ever wanted from our truthers, and you don't get it very much. Now, let me explain to you why you're not getting it very much. Okay, great to be here tonight. I hope it is a great show. Okay, but I want to tell you something. Okay, Wyatt's been told to shut up. He knows what I know. We haven't talked about it because we can't talk about it, not even to each other. Okay. But let me explain to you. Mark Z's not under a NDA or a gag order. Holly isn't under an NDA or a gag order. Charlie Ward isn't under an NDA or a gag order. Okay. None of those guys are under an NDA or a gag order. Why not? Because they're reading a script. They're reading the script writer's version of the movie that's playing out before you all. Okay. I was told 2 weeks ago by Brian and I's source in Texas, who is an SSP advocate. Okay. And that advocate told me that, and she channeled some higher powers, okay? And I'm gonna tell you what, I know it was real. Don't think it's bullshit, because it's not. She channeled some higher powers, and she changed her. It's like she became a different person. She talked like Spock, and she said I was doing a really great job. I felt good about that, and from the Galactics and the other people that she was talking to, and they're all people as far as I'm concerned, regardless if you want to call them ETs or whatever, they're all people. But she said that the one thing she said was, I quote, "The IRS is dissolved. It just hasn't been made public yet." Well, when the director of the IRS resigns, what do you think? Okay, what do you think? That's been revealed on the movie. What you have is yeah, Sherry. Yeah. Comic relief. That guy's comic relief. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything about him because he's funny to watch. Okay, I ain't going to say anything bad about him because there's no sense in it. We're only going to have positivity here.
Hey,
But
hey, Chance. I wanted to say something. When after you're done talking about your spiel, you should tell the people that little story you told me about your friend and his dog. I think that's actually.
Oh my God, yes.
It's
If you don't think things aren't happening, uh,
That's really important,
yeah,
and I want you guys to pay attention to that, especially before I speak, because you don't really understand where it's crunch time, and I don't mean it in a very light fashion. So I'll let you continue.
okay. My friend Scott lives 2 blocks over with me. I went to Burlington with him today, and we had to get some dog food and cat food for my dogs. And he just took me up because we like hanging out together. He's a musician, and we're both skirting the line of poverty. But anyway, he's. Did I say that nice enough?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't want to say anything to offend anybody, but okay. Here's the thing. His dog came outside. His dog was a big dog, but it was black and white, short-haired dog with a boxer face. Whatever breed that is, you would know. I don't know that much about dog breeds. I'd have to have a book. That isn't his Zeus dog. That isn't the one I knew as Zeus. Zeus looked like a bear. He had longer hair, big old dogs. Probably if he stood on his hind legs, he'd have been taller than me, been 6 foot tall, and was a love. Now, he didn't like people coming in the house, but he was just, he'd snuggle up to you and he'd hug you and everything. That's not the same dog. Not kidding. I also told Brian about a house that 6 or 7 years ago, the house disappeared over here. Some people that rented one of my houses for me back in the day, 10, 12 years ago, moved into this house. And I went over there, tried to collect rent from them. So that's why I'll never be a renter again. But anyway, I tried to collect some money from them, and, they just blew me off. And then one day I went by there, and guess what? The house was completely gone. Gone, gone, gone. 2 weeks ago, the house is back. The house is back. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this crap up. It's okay. So if you don't think this is Rod Sterling stuff, you're right. It is. But that'll show you what is going on. If this is happening in Mayberry here, what's happening in your area that you don't know anything about. Okay. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's huge. Okay. Any word on the Brunson case? Good question. Durham report. Oh God. I'm going to tell you about the Durham report. If you want to know, I'm going to tell you. This is what I've got. The Durham report is part of the movie. There's not really a report. Now, as all of you know, Bruce Willis supposedly has dementia and has quit making movies. Well, the reason he quit making movies, folks, is he's playing the part of John Durham. Look at him. Okay? He's got a new role. He hadn't got time for that other stuff. He's got to do the stuff that pays the big money. Okay, Diane says, I experienced several timelines going at the same time. It started 2 weeks ago. Has anybody been experiencing this? Maybe, but I see timelines jumping. We'll have to come up with a chat code so we don't shirt in our baskets. Oh, I called my friend Dave yesterday in Minnesota, brother Dave, and I know Brian knows him, and I'm just going to tell you right now. Brother Dave told me he's got a case packed by the door. And he's ready to go to what you do. Yes. No PayPal, just Cash App or wise.com. And I can send them to you right now while the show's going on. Okay. Cash App is $McFadden Chance. If you want to buy tickets to the acoustic guitar drawing in 4 weeks, then it's $5 per ticket. Okay. But anyway, there's so much going on, it's hard to keep it straight. And what I have been doing to level out my sanity, yes. Love Jen, yes. More so, in fact, Brian and I were talking about this today, Love Jen, okay? No, he's playing a role. He's playing a role. Yeah, I know, I'm being careful. Yes, that is right. Okay, I have only two neck braces now. I have 4. I'm supposed to have only 2. I don't know what to tell you about that. Yeah, everything's freaky. Well, because I still get the information. That's why. And how I use it afterward is going to be depending on me and not other people. Okay, so I'm just playing a role. But anyway, Wyatt's right. We have to be careful what we say. We have to be careful what we do. And Wyatt, you're big into karaoke. I know you're down at the pub singing karaoke. So when we turn this into a full-blown music show, we're going to have you come on and sing a couple of karaoke songs, okay? Yes. Yeah. Good, Marty. Good observation there, Marty. Very good. Oh, absolutely. Density and dimensions are 2 different things, and so is frequency and vibration. And fascinating, Brian has tried over and over again to try to teach you guys this.
Well, density it's not necessarily density and dimensions are actually one and the same. If you think about it, like think of it from like plywood. Plywood is quite soft, right? That is a type of density. So you can squeeze it and you can make a dent. It's still dense. It's still considered a type of dimension. I'm trying to give you a simple format. So if you were to take and squeeze like a 4x4 of like oak, again, it's still considered a dimension. So it doesn't necessarily have the same construct or the format of a dimension, but it does have the same principles. So any density can be considered a dimension. It just doesn't mean the idea of a dimension doesn't have rules to where it says it has to be a sphere, it has to be a triangle, or it has to be a hexagon. That's the difference between the dimension. But it still encompasses a type of density or multi-layers of a density, right? You need oxygen to breathe. Oxygen is a type of dense or oxygen, right? So it's very light. It's still water, but you breathe it in. You don't swim in it. You walk through it. But it's still a density. Sorry.
Okay. I guess Doc muted me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Technical difficulty. Sorry. The problem that's going on though is everybody's so anxious for money, and I get it. Okay, the sound in the background is the fan that I have running in the living room, and I'll get up here in a minute and I'll turn it off. Sounds like Doc is shaving. Man, this must be a real sensitive microphone on this computer, because man, I could just barely hear it in the background. So I'll
But
get
it
up.
always is when I talk. It's weird. It decides to be like a buzzing bee. It's like, we don't want to hear him. No, we don't want to wake anybody up. I'm like, okay, the joke's on me, clearly.
Okay, we were Brian and I were talking today, and there's a lot of crazy energies going on. There's a lot of crazy energies. I know you've been thinking about what you want to say tonight, Brian. So why don't I mute and turn this fan off, and you go ahead and do a dissertation about what was on your mind today and maybe what we talked about.
Okay. So as a recap, think about what Chance said. So as you know, and again, I'll use this analogy again. So from a density, I'm going to give you numbers, but I hate using numbers because it's not an accurate description. But you need to also imagine that these numbers fluctuate. And again, it's not to say I'm better than anyone else. It's not to say that I'm, it's just to give you a frame of reference. So let's say I'm on the density from 0 to 9. Okay, what is considered 0 to 9? Prime numbers. You want to be in the prime numbers. Listen to what I'm saying again. You want to be in the prime highest vibrational frequencies and numbers. You do not want to dip past 10. Super important to understand why I'm saying this. So through the fluctuation of the numbers, just imagine them separate numbers, right? If you're in the 0, when you have an emotional outburst or when you have an emotion exhibiting something, the numbers kind of shoot up. They shoot up, they go down. They shoot up, they go down. They shoot up and go down. You stub your toe. You drop between 1 to 5, and you're like effing, and so you're having a very impulsive moment because you hurt your freaking toe. So now you've dropped down to like 5 to 7 in your line. You're like, okay, I need to cool down here. I need to rebalance myself. My toe's not bleeding. Toenail's fine, still attached. You restabilize, and you go right back to 0. So if you stay in the prime numbers, and if you stay in the highest of the prime numbers, which represents the now moment, meaning you're not feeding any energy emotionally in all the ideas. You're not feeding, when's the Brunson case? When's XRP? When's my RV? None of it matters. It doesn't matter. None of it matters, period. The reason why it's very important, and I do emphasize, time is short. This does not necessarily apply to you if you are, how would I say, a part of this realm. You're human, right? You're kind of a new consciousness in discovery mode, self-discovery mode. This is more important for those that have consciously been around in multiple planes of existence, multiple planets. You call them starseeds, or you call them starseed wanderers. The term starseed means they're from other stars that seed upon a planet. That is a starseed. Your wanderers are from other realms, other universes. That's what I am. I am a starseed wanderer. Not, this isn't my universe. Nope. So through these dynamic experiences and fluctuations, many of you are in a lot of what if modes, like you're tired and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you're like, well, I'm not sure because I still have family, I still have friends, I still have all these projects that I want to do. So you need to come to terms with your focus or point of attention. If within your center, your being, your heart, you know who you are, even though you don't remember, right? You may not remember your exact I am before you came here, but the idea of a starseed does resonate with you. If you say, I did everything, even like, yeah, reincarnates, people who have reincarnated. I've reincarnated here for, Jesus, hundreds of years, maybe even close to 1,000, but definitely not more than that. So if you have memory in this lifetime and you know that this isn't like your home, the money system doesn't match with you, your family doesn't resonate with you, then why stay here, right? You're gonna have your guides give you intuitive moments. What your guides are gonna allude to is they give you the ideas to ask the questions because they want an answer now. Do you want to go? You just, and it's not exit like, oh, okay, well, here's the rope, go hang yourself. No, what they want to know is if you want an escort. We've heard it. Many people have heard that their tribes are getting their people back. They're escorting their people off planet. They're leaving. So what does that mean? That means you have to let everything go here. That's what it means. You played your part on this realm and you just leave. If you can imagine this, and I can go ahead and tell you this, whether you remember it or not, or whether if that idea does come to pass, or let's say this video just gets scrubbed, or if you can imagine where I too am at some point escorted, right? So think of it this way. How does that work? I'm going to give you a nice sci-fi story. Let's say I get escorted, right? Be me the F up Scotty. I can say it that way. I'm escorted off. That means that there's got to be a change within the holographic system. You've seen Matrix to know that things get rewritten. And sometimes there are anomalies, right? Where some people that are of a right conscious aptitude, they will have the memory. And then they will ask one person just to check for checks and balances. I'm not crazy. And if their friends say, I have no idea who you're talking about, then they could nod their head and go, okay, they're gone. That's how it works. Your whole entire identity. So you can see my background here. What do you think happens? Poof. You are wiped clean because the system has safeguards for consciousness. It's always that way. Whether you think that I'm some nut job that doesn't know what he's talking about or not. But this is how it works. When there is transition, things will pop in, things will pop out. That's why I say from the zero of a dimension or timeline, however you want to look at it, or density, because it's all one, it's all the same thing. There's always that constant wave that we all surf, that the planet surfs, each animal surfs, each entity, whether it is organic and or non-organic, it surfs it too. Because there's no walls, there's no barriers or anything. It's all consciousness. So for those that it applies to, and again, you have to be operating within the heart space. You have to already have the right frequency to have your rapture. And here's something that's you need to understand. And rapture does not refer to a biblical concept. It is a singularity moment where the Christ consciousness graduates, and you can look up the definition, even though it says, but it's teleport. You teleport out. But it does refer, Jesus Christ. I'm like, no, they're telling you to confuse you. It's about the Christ consciousness. When you meet the requirements, you have the opportunity to exit. And there are tons of ships waiting for their people to exit. They're dialing down as guides to get you to question, have you had enough? Have you did enough? Are you ready to come home? If you're ready to come home, we'll schedule the pickup. We'll pick you up, but you have to be okay to become a dream. You will become a dream. People will dream about you and think like, oh, that's weird. I feel like I met that person, but I'm not sure. And because it leaves their mind gradually as they wake up. Only the higher conscious people like Chance, he would probably retain it, but you wouldn't hear him talk about it. So that is what's happening now. That is the rapture. So you're like, so that only applies to the people that make the cut? Yes. So what happens to everyone else? Exodus. And you're thinking, Exodus? That's mass deportation. I'm not an immigrant. Yes, you are. You're immigrating to another timeline, or you're immigrating off the planet. It's Exodus is what everyone else gets. Sorry, I know it sounds like a terrible thing. Sounds like, well, I'm not going to believe it anyways. You just have to understand vibration and frequency and consciousness. If you can tap into a greater source of you, you would realize that it's very real. It's a very real thing. It's a very complex expansion tool that is necessary for growth. You have to have it in order to transition to have a different and brand new experience. And guess what? And there's so many starseeds that gave up their original I am. I'm one of them. I gave up my original vessel to play a role as a human in this board game for a very long time. So within my contract, I said, I don't have a body. I'm not cloning a body, but I'll take this body and I'll reinvent it and I'll somehow turn it back into my original I am. Because why? We're all limitless creators. We all get to pick how we wish to do things. So everyone needs to pick, because we're literally down to the wire now. Don't believe me. If you want to ask a guide, say, guides, I heard some crazy shit from this dude. Okay. And I want to know if he's a nut job, if he's fear mongering. And if you get a lot of negativity saying, oh, no, don't believe him, you need to look to higher guides. You need guides that have a vibration of, objectivity, benevolence, light, very sources of wisdom, all about wisdom. You can sit there and ask that one question, and you know you're a starseed, and say, are we truly down to the wire? And if you get some intuitive moment or an inkling, that's when you should start doing your shadow work as crunch time, right? Purging anything that no longer resonates with you. Or you could just throw your hands up in the air and compress all that negativity, all that loosh, and all that garbage that you experienced throughout your life, form it into a nice basketball, and look at that trash can and you just go, clunk, and then you just do that. You go, I'm good. Ready to go. Take me up. That would be the best one. Go ahead.
Brian, you are absolutely, listen, he said several things there that were just absolutely so dead on, I can't even repeat them. But I will tell you this, when he says we are down to the wire, I am not shirting you. We are down to the wire on everything. I can talk about Medbeds a little bit.
Not everyone has. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you guys aren't far away from the Medbeds. You aren't far away from the Medbeds. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And there's there's 3 different levels of Medbeds. And if you're not so bad, like me, I'm not so bad. I got a lot of aches and pains and, neck problems and back problems and stuff. I'm not so bad that, the bottom level med bed won't help me a lot. I can wait my turn till I go into the celestial med bed and gain 30 years. I'm okay with that. I can wait. Somebody else needs it worse than me. Okay. But, we're down to the wire, just like Brian said. That's the best statement I've heard all stinking week. We are down to the wire. Listen to what Brian just said. Go back and listen to it again. Watch it on the replay. And I'm going to tell you, for everybody that's listening tonight, if this show disappears off YouTube, Doc G has got them recorded. We will send the recording to Bernadette. Bernadette will put it on my channel, on my Telegram channel. And we'll also put it on Dr. Wiedemann's health channel, okay? Wyatt had a question a while back, Brian. Do you know what that was?
It said, what? Fascinating, Brian. What is the percentage of pure humans on the earth, in your opinion? It's small. I'm not going to say a number. Let's just say as we shift through gradients of densities, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So here's something, and again, I probably said this last time. The remnants of third density, if I want to give you an example of those that aren't going to make it within 2 months, and Chqnces, and it's not like in any negativity, it's just because they are capped and they meet the requirements, is his wife. And we all understand that, right? And those that are similar in that position that do not wish to change anything. They can't. And here's something phenomenal. Here's something also that you may notice when you're talking to certain people, whether it's kids, whether it's spouses, or you're through these trials and difficulties, they're always resetting, like your parents. Like you can have the same blasted conversation with them. You'd be like, but I told you this and I told you this, and the next day they reset. So they're in this perpetual loop of degrading, because the consciousness, it doesn't have enough energy to support any new forms of ideas and thoughts, but it's very low. The percentage of graduations is low. It's weird, but I understand. From what I understand is the matrix. So the principle of a holographic society is you will find that there's really about between 1 to 3% of a super caliber to moderate consciousness. And then you have around like a 10 to 25 of a gradient of less than moderate consciousness. And then the rest is low consciousness. So the reason why there is that dynamic aspect is like, yes, some of them will be kind of like drones at first through consciousness, but depending on who they share their lives with, let's say that a lower consciousness engages a super consciousness, and then they like their ideas and they start to share a relationship. There's a huge boon within their auric field, and they start to liven up, they start to animate, and maybe even another source from a no time distance space will hop in the suit, right? And that's just energy dynamics of like the holographic society. There's always gonna the vessels are always, it's like a costume party. If I want to be honest, we're all playing Halloween down in all densities, but because that's a literal fact, that's a true statement. If I'm to be honest, it's Halloween every single day. So you have to have gradients, so that way there's always can be walk-ins. There are going to always be opportunities for reincarnating, because the disincarnates love observing in a what I like to call the astral shopping mall. So imagine that there's a copy of you in the astral shopping mall with your spouse. They're going like this. That's some good DNA. Oh, she's got some good DNA too. And if I pick them as my parents, I'm going to have some hella good frequencies within my DNA. So that's what they're shopping for. They're shopping for frequencies, because we're always wanting to expand. We're always wanting to change. It's like that's what we're all collecting. So instead of collecting baseball cards or rare basketball cards, it's like, I want Michael Jordan DNA. So then you're like, okay, well, I got to look for his family because I want to play some, crazy basketball. And that's what you do. So you shop from the astral side. Yeah. Go ahead, Chance.
No. Listen, when you said Michael Jordan DNA, if you're looking for Michael Jordan DNA, I have it right here. You think I'm kidding? Behind the couch, my son has a signed Michael Jordan jersey. The red 23 signed. So anybody that needs to get some Michael Jordan DNA, come on by. I'm sure for a fee, he'll let you extract a few strands, okay?
Yeah.
It's so funny that you said that. And he also has a signed tennis shoe too. So we've got Michael Jordan DNA all over the place, okay?
Well, it has this frequency, so yes. But
Well, it does.
Yeah, but that's a perfect example of how the systems work in any holographic, whether it's silicon, carbon-based, metallic. There's tons of different categories of holographic existences and different types of matter. But yeah, I felt like I went off on a tangent where I was like remote viewing and then explaining like whatever I was seeing. So, but I hope, this gives you some ideas and clarity of the formulation of things, but it also correlates to like what everyone is experiencing here. So I know a lot of you like posting over and over, I'm here to help humans. I'm here for the humanitarian projects. That is great. That is great. So if you're here for that, I'm going to encourage you to say, I'm in the mid-range of the fourth density. That's where Chance wants to be. That is the sweet spot. The reason why I'm encouraging you is because the idea of kind of interstellar contact, the timetable will be much shorter. So it could be between 5 to 10 years. Could be shorter. But that is around the time, so around 2030. But I won't be here. So that is something to look forward to. You don't want anything below the 4.25 range, because anything below that is getting washed away. It's getting scrubbed off. I don't, the reason why, and again, I will say this, and as I said the last show, you don't have a choice. You don't get to choose. You don't get to pick. It's not your choice. It's the planet's choice. She already picked. She doesn't want any more of this. So, and it's no hard feelings to you. It's just say la vie. Okay. She's like, sorry. So, you know, please do your, if there's one thing I will encourage everyone to do, please do a lot of inner work for yourselves. Your family doesn't matter. Yes, your family matters if you want to go with them. If you want to go with them, then you pick them. You don't pick the frequency. You just pick them. But if you pick you, then you need to pick your frequency. And you just keep moving forward without regret. And it has to be without regret. Yeah.
Awesome, Brian. Listen, Brian and I talked about something earlier in the week, or no, it was last week, actually. We didn't talk much this week. We've both been really, really busy. I've been hit with some bad energies, and I'm fighting them, and I'm putting the protective shield over me and the armor of God, or whatever you would care to call it. And I was talking to a lady Monday. They're having IRS problems. I gave her my opinion about everything that's going on. She thanked me, and I said to her, I said, where do you live? And she says, I live in California, and we have such a wonderful place. We have such a wonderful place. The weather is perfect all year round. We just have they were in the sweet spot for the weather. Where it was, I don't know. I don't know if it was Orange County or LA County or where. I don't know. I don't have no idea where they live. But I said to her, I said, there's been a mass exodus going on for 8 years out of California. And I told her, and I don't think she believed me. And that's all right. It's okay. Now I can prove the mass exodus, because 4 or 5 years ago, when I learned the mass exodus from Kent Dunn, I said, I'm going to check this out myself. So I called a random U-Haul dealer. Okay. And I said, I want to rent one of the big trucks, one of the big box trucks, to go from California to Illinois. She said, no problem. I said, how much will that be? She says, $4,000 plus your mileage. We need a $500 deposit, and it won't be available for 8 months. Wait a minute. It won't be available for 8 months? Okay, this told me that the information Kent said was right. I also had a friend in San Francisco who was a successful hairdresser, a woman's hairdresser, and he was very, very good at it, had hundreds of clients. And his wife was a successful realtor, and they owned all their property in a high rent district in San Francisco. I have not heard from him since the day he closed everything up, packed everything up, and abandoned his house and property, which was all paid for. Okay? I have not heard a word from him. He thought he was going to go to Oklahoma or Texas, or, I don't know. But I couldn't ever see him going to Colorado, because that, Colorado thing. But anyway, there's something going to happen to California. Kent Dunn talked about it. I have gotten it from several sources. And now here's the thing. Do not think I am anti-California, because I'm not. I'm anti-California government. But hang on one second. Hey, I'm doing my show. I'll call you back, okay? Wait. Okay. Bye. So anyway, where was I at? I lost my place. Somebody help me. Oh, anyway, we know what's going to happen to California. I love California. I thought it was beautiful when I was out there. I loved it. I wished I could live there. I ate my first Taco Bell bean burrito there. I was with my grandma, my aunt and uncle, my cousin. I loved California. I loved it.
So a lot of people are complaining about ears ringing. That's normal, everyone. The frequency changing, that's your clue that things are changing astronomically. If it gets louder and louder and louder, the best thing you can do is imagine that you put a filter over it, or you convert it into a backdrop noise. You had to visually do it. It's possible, but I understand. It's something that's very difficult at night because things are quieter. Things are happening, just so you know. So just to let you know, and someone said like, yeah, are we, hi, Fascinating Brian, I still don't understand. Are we dying if we are below the 4.5? I said between the 4.25 up to the 50 and higher, you kind of make the cut. Anything below that is getting shifted to another timeline. Like I said, from the 0 to 9,
Right.
stated in the 0 to 9, that is the agreement of the collective consciousness wanting to exhibit between 4.25 to 450. That's what they're picking. And you navigate that, and you're always shifting through transdimensionally, interdimensionally. The 10, so let's say you fall off into the 10 range, 10 up to whatever. It gets worse and worse and worse. That means if you fall, let's say from the 10 to 20 density, and again, I hate numbers, but I have to use it. You can assume that the can gets kicked down the road a couple more years with the RV. Think of that. You'd be like, ugh, because it's got a lot. It still has problems. They're still trying to get rid of and make some corrections and do this and that. It's a different timeline. That also means it could be 2040 before you would have interstellar contact. So everything, there's like a pushback of ideas that get kicked because there's still more problems. You don't want any of those ideas because it's all consciously driven.
Right, right.
But anything that the residual of 3, they just, it's like, it's not incinerated, but it's like they just disappear. So their constructs, become like molecules. They just disappear. They get dispersed, and their sources go to another incarnation cycle. And depending on the generational karma, pay attention to this. Let's say there is a lot of trauma within your tribe. Let's say a lot of the trauma pertained to ethics or a lot of unethical situations. And let's say if that pertained to your grandparents and it pertained to your current parents, they reap what they sow. That means they're going to be on the receiving end of what happened to you because they didn't operate in integrity. They didn't solve the problem on behalf of a lot of the star seeds. A lot of the star seeds chose families that had very unique generational karmic circumstances. And yes, a lot of it not good, and a lot of it very compromised in ethics. And I don't need to go in further. You can use your imagination as to what I mean. They tried their hardest to help reset or purge. Unfortunately, very, very few were successful in this endeavor, but they tried. They really, really did try. The easier ones that actually were more successful had to deal with alcoholism. Those weren't so bad. The ones that pertain to the SEX, not as successful, unfortunately. So those other conscious within those tribes, they get to be on the receiving end of all the traumas in their next life. It's just conscious is unbiased. Everything is measurable, just so you know. So because everything is measurable by source or those that understand frequencies and source, you get what you get and you don't complain, so to speak. I mean, that is the rule, number one rule. I've heard that from my dad since I was a kid, for crying out loud. So I understand. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting times. That's for sure.
Okay, Brian, everybody's asking what's going to happen to California. Well, first of all, let's talk about the people who've been participating in the mass exodus, okay? Brian and I agree on the fact that these people are subconsciously or consciously or metaphysically can feel and see or just follow in their gut that something bad's going to happen in California. And it's the bad thing about it is I know what it is and I won't tell you because it would be considered negative energy and it would be fear porn. But what I would suggest is find someplace flat.
They could just go on YouTube and look at the future. And so there's still videos out there that shows future predictions of the world's geographic. All you have to do is look at that and you're going to get your answer. And it's not fear in the way that you think. Because again, you have to understand we're entities. We're a singularity. ETs are singularities. Planets are single singularities, right? That means they're alive. They're a single entity. So if the planet says, goodbye, New York, I know what you did, I didn't like it. And again, it's the principle of like, this scab is never going to heal.
That's exactly right.
I have to rip it off. You take off. So basically Gaia, Terra, whatever you want to call her, she's saying, I'm taking off the Band-Aid and the scab still hasn't healed. So I'm just going to pick it off and it's just going to go away. And there's purification methods. So the purification methods is fire and water. It's another flood.
San Andreas faults. The San Andreas fault has something to do with this. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you remember? Okay, hear me going to a Superman or a Star Trek reference like I always do. But remember in Superman 1 when he got underneath the San Andreas fault and it was collapsing and he pushed up the San Andreas fault and stabilized it. Okay. That's not going to happen. We don't have Superman here.
True.
Okay. That's not going to happen. But it is very much in touch with the San Andreas fault. And anybody that lives on that side of the fault line, it could be very much like that movie. And I forget the name of it, where Los Angeles fell into the sea. Do you remember that movie? What was that?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it's true. They tell you exactly what it's the predictions, and it's not.
Yes.
It's not necessarily about fear. It's about preparation. So if you're prepared, because this is a game board. You are on a game board. If Neo is prepared, you're gonna gravitate elsewhere. If you want to be informed, you have to do the work to be informed. And then you move out of the way. Or you're collateral damage. I'm sorry. So this has to deal with consciousness. It's always conscious driven. Everything is conscious driven. You just haven't figured that out yet.
That's why all those people left. That's why the people have been leaving for 8 years. Mass exodus. Do you know how many Californians have relocated to Oklahoma and Texas? Thousands of the real estate market down there is booming because people are still moving.
and Arkansas.
They better have some money. Is all I got to say, because the banks are collapsing too. Okay, the ones that aren't compliant. So, if you still got your money in the bank, silly you, silly you, silly you. But Brian's right. It's consciousness driven. And if you've got the consciousness, it's just like my guy that was a hairdresser and his wife was a realtor. They're banking out there just before COVID. And boy, did he get out in time, because everything went to hell in a handbag once COVID hit. Okay. Yeah. I hear you. You know what they did in the old Western days, don't you? Well, supposedly, according to Gunsmoke, they just hitched up a wagon and they headed west because they thought that was the promised land. But now California, now Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, and Idaho, and Arkansas, and Texas, and Oklahoma looks like the promised land now. Okay, so
yeah, it's true. Because I'm back in when my sister bought her house, it was around like 230,000, 250,000, and that's really expensive in their neighborhood. But now you can't get in order to live there, if you want to get a house in her neighborhood, it's $600K. It tripled because everyone was moving from California. It's crazy.
Well, it's consciousness driven, just like you said.
Yes.
And all we can do, is you can go to your inner self. You can go to your higher power. You can turn it over to your higher power. Whatever you want to do something. Because I have very bad vibes, and I have had for a long time about California, even before I started listening to Kent Dunn. There's just something about it and because my wife told me, like, I don't know, 15 years, we only moved to California, and I thought, are you on crack? Do you know you can't rent a house out there for less than $2,500 a month, and it would be a lean-to shack pretty much. Now everything is going to hell in a handbag in California. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why everything. You want to know why? Because it's consciousness driven, just like Brian said. The consciousness that's driving it is the dark entities, the negativity, the evil, whatever you want to call it. And there's only one way to fight it, and that's with the opposite energy, love. You put the love out there. I told you all you got to do is, you just got to love your fellow man, and you got to do everything you can to help them. You can't.
But that's not. Yeah, sorry, Chance. I was going to say that's not all. You have to love yourself the most.
Right.
So if you think about it, Gaia loves herself the most. So she sure as hell is going to drop that land into the water so she can have a cleanse, so she can purify all that dark energy and garbage. So again, if you're willing to be of materialism and you cannot leave everything behind, or if you can and you just take the things that make sense to you, you'll be fine, and then you won't be collateral damage. But again, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to Chance. Everyone has guides. You just have to go sit still or put on some music, put on heart music. Yeah, put on heart music. Ask your guides, hey, am I being a dum-dum by sitting here and, just waiting to see what happens before it happens? Or am I just, just ask them. Ask them. There's no limit to the questions you can ask, but you have to also pay attention to the clues that you're given, because it's not free. The questions aren't given freely. What they like to do is give you a question back so you can answer it yourself. That's a part of growth. they're not going to do it for you. So keep that in mind. They'll activate your intuition. They'll start up the pistons to get that energy going, and then you kind of have to pull from whatever idea is given back. So yeah, it's pretty clever.
You know what I think one of the stupidest songs ever? It's a beautiful little song. It's a nice little ditty, but it sends a god awful message. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future is ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Isn't that nice? In other words, don't think about it, just accept.
That's
And if you live in California, then you got to accept the dark entities. If you live in Colorado, you got to accept the dark entities, you know? But remember, the dark entities are everywhere. So how you fight them is with your positivity, with your power of prayer, the 520-741-8, Shlama. My brother Joe Bell in, I forget what country he's in. He said he was from Malta, but he's living someplace else now. He taught me this thing, a breathing exercise where you do this, with the left hand, put it over your heart, and the right hand on your stomach. And then you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth and do the and make the pineal gland vibrate. It does vibrate. I've done it. I've done it 3 times today already, and I'll do it again before I go to bed. I told him I was going to do that, and I also told him I was going to talk about it on the show. So Joe Bell, he's a great guy, and he teaches martial arts. He teaches spiritualism. He teaches exercises, spiritual exercises, and all kinds of things. And if you want to get a hold of Joe Bell, I can give you his email or something. But anyway, great guy. Kathy Laney says all the good states are being invaded here in the Carolinas. I swear we're being invaded by who? Who were we being invaded by? I didn't catch that last part. No. I have no one to move in with. Daughter is homeless, living in her car. I have pets. Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. I guess. Good evening, Gregory. How are you, Gregory? Yes. Doris Day. Yeah, I know. But I don't like that song because it just accept what comes down the line. I'm not accepting it. I'm not. You got the power of prayer. You got the power of positive energy. You got your frequencies, your vibrations. You got the power to break the matrix with the tools that Brian has given you and the tools that I have given you. Don't accept what you think is your fate. You can change your fate. Yes. You can change your direction. All things are possible with God is one of the things that I hear a lot. The other things, all things are possible within your heart is another one of the things that I hear a lot. Okay. And I agree. And when I close the show, I always talk about what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And it's really, I used to love that song when it came on the radio when I was a kid. And I didn't understand it. I mean, I understood what they were saying and I understood the words of the song, but Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. Yeah, I get it. But spiritually, I didn't get it. And as I got older and recently rediscovering the song and listening to it, it has a very positive, it has a nothing but positive energy in that, and it's a good song. Put it in the middle of your YouTube playlist, right in the middle of your harp music, if you're setting up a YouTube playlist. Okay, it's fantastic. We're looking for Doc G. I was going to ask him a couple things that we're about 2 weeks away. We're about 2 weeks away from doing the drawing for the guitar, the acoustic guitar that I played on the air a couple of weeks ago. And the winner will be randomly drawn by AI, and manifest your desires. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I work on that every night. When I go to bed, I there's actually a program on YouTube. There's actually a YouTube program that has the 520-7418, and there's also another one that has Shlama on there, and they talk about why it is a powerful word. I got those on my playlist, and I listen to those every night. And then I end up with harp music, or the song I've been listening to. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It's a silly song, but maybe it's not a silly song. Maybe it's a message in it that I'm still trying to figure out. And that is I don't even remember the name of the band, but it was called Somebody That I Used to Know. That has a lot of meaning to me, because it doesn't have to relate to a man and a woman. It can relate to two guys, or a group of guys, or a camaraderie, or a army buddies, or anything. It's somebody that I used to know, and how you're remembering and how you're perceiving that energy that happened back then that doesn't exist now. And I find some solace in listening to that song. I put it on my playlist. Okay, the banks that are safe now are the banks that are compliant. Okay, if you think your bank is, if you don't know whether it's compliant or not, there's a list. We have a list on the private Telegram site. The Chqnces live chat group 2 is a private Telegram channel. If you want to join, then send me an application with your Telegram name and your phone number and everything, and I will forward it on to the administrator, which is Bernadette, and we will. Oh yeah, and we can't put that back on. Yeah, thanks and gratitude. Thanks and gratitude. I need to. Thanks and gratitude to the Almighty, the Source, the Jesus Christ, whatever. Gotti sang that song. That's it. There's like 5 remixes on it. Yeah, don't forget to give gratitude to the highest power, to God, whoever your highest power is. Dave Cook, Chance, my dog got sent a no-kill rescue because I had a trauma that they would not give him back. He might be at a foster home in Nashville, Tennessee. His black and white Jack Russell, mixed pointed ears. I miss him. Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry. Especially if you're not well, and it's a double-barreled bitch not to have your best friend with you. And that dog could very well be your best friend, and just keep your prayers going to God, Jesus, the Almighty, Source, whatever you want to call him, your heart, and hopefully he will come back to you. And I would like everybody to pray that he gets his dog back, if you could. I really appreciate the prayers, the positive energy sent to Shelley and to Bernadette, Morris, all the people that are suffering. I got a sore shoulder right here. But guess what? When I go to bed at night, I put one of those ice wave patches on it. And guess what? I go to bed painless. It really helps. The ice wave really helps. And that's good. Heart, hands, and heart and whatever. Okay, I don't know where Doc went. I really wanted to get his input on a couple things. I know he's having some technical difficulties at the station, and they're doing a bunch of resets after this show. This is going to be the last live show for a while. Doc Wiedemann's video got taken down off of YouTube Monday night, and so what we're going to Psalm 119.
Interesting. Why'd they take it down?
Well, because they don't. Because you know who runs YouTube, the cable guys, and there's a They don't want you well. They don't want you
Yeah.
recovering. They want you sick so they can sell their petroleum-based pharmaceuticals to you. That's
I
what
guess
they
we
want.
should talk about food then. So let's talk about food real quick. If you're eating processed food, you may want to just stop. So that's one idea. And if you get hamburger, if you get anything that looks pink, don't get it. Don't get anything that looks pink. If it looks super pink, like it's fresh, don't get it because that's pink slime, or
That's
it's
exactly right.
it's printed. You want the super rich, dark red meat. And we're talking like if you're getting like grass-fed beef, you want it in that little square package because that's where you can see the blood. That's the real meat.
Yeah. That's what I give my dogs.
Yeah, you guys you're going to need to cook more. Unfortunately, the food is so bad everywhere right now. Like I keep hearing people getting sick. Don't eat out. Stop eating out. Cook your dang food. It's not real. It's undigestible, and you're layering your cake, so to speak. You're layering your cake is what you're doing. And that cake is going to create parasites. And those parasites are going to love your cake. So start making more foods from scratch. Even if, yeah.
Yep. Hey, Brian, I know this sounds real. This is going to sound real hokey, me talking about this, but they lowered the price at Aldi to a pound of ground turkey from $2.29 to $1.89. So now I can give my dogs a half a pound of ground turkey each, cook it in the air fryer, and I can give them each a half pound of food. It's cheaper than a can of dog food, and it's way healthier for them, huh?
I said, wow. Yeah, that's true.
So that if you got pets out there and you got an Aldi's around there, $1.89 for a pound, go check that out. Cut it right in half, cook it in your air fryer or whatever, however you want to cook it. Make sure you cook it thoroughly. If you don't cook it thoroughly, some dogs can't process it. But I'm telling you, they love it. They love it. And I'll tell you what else works out good. If you can get some baby carrots and soak them in some distilled water or something like that and get the yuck off of them.
Or you could get food grade hydroperoxide. You can order it. You can wash your vegetables with it. So Susan asks, is eating pork okay? Eating pork isn't really okay. I'll tell you what's really bad. It's the fats. So do not eat any of the gristle of the fats on anything of the meat products. If you don't understand biology, what those fats really are parasites encapsulated. They're encapsulated because they're kept off the organs, they're kept off the certain structures of the body. So that's what a lot of the fats are. I know you're like, oh, I usually like chewing fat. You may not want to chew on the fat anymore. You just want to cut the fat out. But if you don't want to believe me, what you can do also is you can cut that part out. If you got a nice, microscope, a scope you can look at, you can zoom in, and then maybe you'll see those wiggly bits kind of move. And then you'll be like, ew. So
listen to what Brian's saying. He's talking about microencapsulated parasites in the fat of the pig. Okay. Now listen to me. What do you think cancer is? What do you think cancer-rated is? Cancer is microencapsulated parasites released and grown, and they grow into what appears to be a mold, and that mold goes into cancer. You can't get rid of the cancer. if you don't get rid of this parasites and the mold. That's why ivermectin and fenbendazole. I need access to your chat. Well, what you do is you send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will, and send me your Telegram username and all that stuff, and I will send it over to Bernadette. She will vet you, and we've had to kick a lot of people off because they were putting negativity, and we had some trolls in there. Okay, I like what that last lady say.
Oh, Bonnie Jensen. I
No
love
pork?
it. Well,
Food is frequency electrons. Dr. Morse, ND.
okay. This is what oh. Go ahead, Chance. Sorry.
I used to love ham sandwiches. And I used to love bologna sandwiches. Oh my God, they're so bad for you. Okay? But listen, bologna sandwich, processed ham. Do you know what is like the third ingredient and all that crap? It's corn syrup. Corn syrup. You want to talk about negative? Okay, corn syrup. You know that pancake syrup that you get for $3 at Dollar General?
Yeah.
It's flavored corn syrup. Spend the $14, go to a regular grocery store and get real pancake syrup. Okay?
Yeah, I was going to say what one lady said, and I really appreciate her chiming in. Like Bonnie Jensen said, we make our own tallow. If you can learn how to make tallow, YouTube it or whatever, you're golden. Just think of the homemade French fries. You'll have the best homemade French fries ever.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking like 1950s version McDonald's if you make your own tallow. So if you have the capability of doing that, I would encourage you all make your own tallow, beef tallow.
Right. That's great. Biggie Hart says, I never buy box mixes, too many chemicals. Oh my God. Have you read the chemical makeup of Arm & Hammer baking soda?
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's why I use Red Mill.
Bob's Red Mill.
Perfect. Bob's Red Mill. I use Red Mill. I got 2 of them in. I brush my teeth with them every day, 2-3 times a day. And I threw away all the Arm & Hammer stuff is pretty good to put in your refrigerator to get the odors out, but that's all it's good for. Don't use it to make
cleaning.
That's it.
Yeah, it's good for cleaning. Yeah. Pure maple syrup is the best, right? I just got 2 bags in there now, Suzanne. I get it. Yeah, Arm & Hammer's great if you want to, scour the floor or something like that, because I mean, oh my God, people, who in the hell thinks up to make fake baking soda?
Well,
how many morons does it have to?
No,
oh my God.
It's not. But it's funny that you say that because it's all agenda based. Like they'll the dark are clever. They're like, okay, we're on schedule for this. So now that we created this situation, we did a nice 9/11. Let's work on making fake meat. Any suggestions?
Yeah, let's 3D print bacon. How's that sound? How do you like that?
Yeah, actually, well, what I was going to say is one person says, we poop. And then someone's like, yeah, okay, let's see if we can make poop-based meat. So,
Actually, there was an article about that about 3 years ago, and you must have read it too.
Yes, I did. But that's funny. It's funny because that's what they do. They like behind the scenes in these conventions, they're scheming, they're planning, and then they get their biolabs. They're like, we're saving the planet. We're going green. You can't go greener than that. You're like, oh yeah, cow farts. No, we'll just make people eat feces. So
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
What does everybody have an abundance of? Dirt, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, this ended up going places I didn't want to I'm just telling you, okay?
Well, I gotta
And,
end on a high note.
well, wait a minute. Put that back up about the rats. And they went to ban AK-47s. The food industry is killing us like rats. Roy Beat a Man, I'm going to tell you something. That reminded me of something. I am absolutely 100% scared to frickin' death to eat KFC. Why, you say?
It's not real chicken.
Because it should be called KFP or KFR. P standing for people or R standing for rats.
Well, maybe they
Remember,
could
we have a disclaimer. This could be for factual or it could be for entertainment purposes only.
but
Yeah,
you know,
Danny made a good put Danny's post back up there. He made a good comment. Even the Bible says not to eat pork, only animals with split hoofs that chew the cud. Thank you for that comment. Go ahead, Doc. What do you have to say?
Me? Oh, I was just saying about the food. What you're saying is, the 3D printing. I mean, a lot of restaurants do that in the background and they don't tell the people, and they're paying a lot of money for steaks and things. It's not real. It's all fake. It's all got meat glue in it, and it's meat glue's got pig's intestine in it, and they put this powder in that's all bad for you, and they put it with the little scraps of meat that they get maybe from a tumored. Wait a minute, from a tumored meat that they cut the tumor away, and you're still eating the meat.
Yes.
But you know one thing, Chance. If a tumor is any meat, its chances are the tumor cells have spread all over. It just hasn't spread to a tumor yet. So guess what we're eating? Cancer-driven meat.
Well, maybe they'll have Sylvester Stallone advertise the rat chicken or something. Kind of like in Demolition Man, where he ate rat burger.
Yeah. One bad rat burger, right? I just saw that. So I just saw that. Sorry, my voice is loud. I get all worked up when like minds get together, and California's recycled toilet water. Oh my God,
these people are going out.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so loud when I get like that, guys. I get so overzealous about what we're talking about, and it means a lot to me. Deer meat's pretty good for dogs, yeah. As long as you're processing it yourself. I live in deer country, so you could drive out 5 blocks and hit a deer, just drag it home and have somebody process it, and the new definition to roadkill, I guess. What happened to all the good food they found in the dumps? Oh, we haven't gotten that released yet.
They're not using that yet.
No, that's right. That's right.
That's not until again. So I hate to say this, through the transition, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. I'm not going to lose as much, but after the collateral damage subsides, they will use that. It's not until then. Sorry. I know you're like, you were probably hoping, they should just release it. No, because we're on a timetable. We're on a schedule. And after those ideas happen, then they will release it. Sorry.
Okay. I'm not an advocate for bacon because that's pork, but I do want to tell you, if you're buying bacon at Aldi's, it's all printed. All of the Aldi's bacon is printed. Robin says, I read today that the Nephilim designed pigs to be 50%. What was that?
Human, like humans.
Like humans, so it's almost like capitalism. And there's been some DNA stuff going on there. They've been playing wacky mole with the little piggies, and and using pig parts for people that can't get transplants.
Yeah, the wild pigs are the ones you can
What
eat.
what is going on here? I mean, uh,
They
what was
figure
the
out a
name?
way to make money from every part of the pig because they have a medicine called Armor Thyroid, which I take. It's made from pig.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you guys knew that, but I've got to take it for my thyroid to keep my T3 and T4 cells correct. I've been taking iodine lately, so it's probably going to come down a little bit, which I might be getting off the medicine a little bit because iodine is part of the thyroid that it needs to nourish. But if you don't have it, years ago we had iodized salt, which was real, but now it's all fake, bleached,
Yep.
chemical salt, unless it's
Yep.
the sea salt or the Baja Gold or something like that.
Well, just remember, if you're buying your groceries at Costco, it is this broadcaster's opinion, and I will say it's an opinion only. Where does Costco get all their products from? China. It's a Chinese company.
Just like Walmart.
Okay. I'm doing my show. I'll call you right back.
Yeah, rotisserie chicken's fine because bones. You see the bones. You can pull the chicken. It's chicken. You're getting chicken. I don't buy any of the packaged chicken. I don't buy any. Like if you're gonna bread, it's tricky too. Yeah, I mean if you're gonna do breaded chicken, do it from scratch. But if you're gonna buy a chicken, don't buy chicken breast. Buy a whole chicken, and then you just cut the breasts off, and then at least that way you're getting chicken. Just to let you know.
Okay, and just remember one thing, okay? I know a pizza parlor in Burlington that's just phenomenal. Okay. This guy checks out the source of every product that he puts on his pizza, including the wheat and everything, and he has not deviated from his recipe or his supplier for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
50 years. And it's some of the best pizzas you'll ever eat around here. But when we go there and we get a pizza, we know what we're getting. I sit down and had a long talk with Mikey about 10 years ago, and he says, I found out a long time ago there's a lot of food out there that's just absolutely shirt. And so he said, I started investigating, and he says, you can get the good stuff. And he says, that's why we sell so many pizzas, because our pizza doesn't taste like anybody else. You want to talk about, he uses pure ingredients, and it's just not the run of the mill stuff that you would get from a food wholesaler. Guys, I think it's time in the evening where we got to have our final thoughts. Fascinating, Brian, what's your final thought for tonight?
Okay, so my final thought is for Patricia. She says, how do we know what frequency and vibration we are? You'll know when you go within. Ask your guides what you need to do, but also you need to tap into your core self, right? Not the one that's down here. Ask from within. See if you are centered, if you know yourself to be, where you did a lot of work, where you're not second guessing yourself. You're not asking questions, you just know. There's like the force. There's just a knowing, an inner knowing of how energy works. And when you identify that, and if you believe that you've done the work, then you're ready to move forward. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how it looks like, but that is your goal. Your goal is to keep moving forward. Always. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that. Doc G, go ahead and give us your final thoughts, because I'm sure you got a lot to say about this food thing.
Oh yeah, food thing. Oh my God, it's incredible the things that we hear and see. I mean, I'm shocked every day. I see something different, and people that talk to us or listen to us are shocked too. But that's the only way we know. I mean, you guys know that they have a something in the supermarket, it says made by real people. What that means is the people are in the food. You're feeding your family through other people's families. You realize that, right? Soylent Green. But as long as you're aware of it and you believe in God, and we try to overcome this by, like Brian said, buying from the butcher or buying from a local farmer's market where you see the full food, you know it's what it is. That's the way to go. Go back to the way we used to live years ago. I will say one thing real quick about olive oil. It's just a comment, but olive oil, if it's sourced from one place, it's in a dark bottle, it doesn't oxidize. Extra virgin olive oil is good for you only with them, because other than that, they source it with so many other oils. They use cottonseed oil, and it's not pure, and it's coming from so many different areas. You don't know where the oil is coming from. So try not to use them. They're really scary to use. But the dark bottles, it's got to be one source, organic, EVOO, and that's what you do. But that's my thoughts, and that's what I've been doing.
No, that's very good information, and it's something I knew already. But you're absolutely dead on right.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I know. And the crap they sell at Aldi's is olive oil is just crap. I mean, corn oil in it too.
Yeah.
Listen. The bad guys want to kill us. Okay. Slow and happy is the way they want to do it. They don't care they really don't care how we go, really, but they want us gone. That's the whole thing, and but that's not going to happen because we are winning the war. The war is absolutely won. There are magical and mystical things going on that I can't tell you, and all I can say, you'll be a very wise person to pay attention to things that are going on in the world, and you will be a very astute individual if you pay close attention to the compromises that these other countries are making with DJT. Okay. This isn't news. This is part of the movie and everything like that. But keep in mind, he is a master negotiator. He is there for us. I don't care what it. I don't care. This Tyler Cat that's on Facebook, I can't think of his last name, says DJT is actually Elvis, which is actually Satan. Okay, I just need to. I just need to sit down. I'd love to sit down with this guy and have and I'm not even metaphysically trained, but I'd love to have a metaphysical talk with him to let him know just exactly how far off base he is.
You can't.
I know, but his, okay. Could it be that this Tyler guy, could it be that this Tyler guy is actually one of the cable guys and he's putting it in your face? Hey, look, here's what they're doing.
Or capped in their experience.
But how are you going to do anything about it? That's why you got to stay focused, just like with your humanitarian projects. You got to stay focused on local. You worry about your home, your neighbors, your city, your county, your state. Don't worry about what's going on in Africa. We got people to take care of that over in Africa. Africa is going to be taken care of. All the third world countries are going to be taken care of. India, Malta, all the countries that are all the sand countries that are doing poorly. It's all going to be taken care of. It's already set in stone. Okay, don't worry about that. Keep your focus local. Okay. Yes, Wyatt. And by the way, Wyatt, I can't say it on the air, but man, there's so much going on in Australia. It'd make your head spin. And all I can say is get ready for your trip, because I think your trip is coming up very quickly. Guys, if you want to make a donation to the station or buy tickets, You send Cash App to McFadden, $McFadden Chance for donations, or for the RV protocol papers is $50. You could send $50 to Cash App, $McFadden Chance. If you want to make a donation through wise.com, use my email, chancemusic@yahoo.com. The tickets for the acoustic guitar drawing is in 2 weeks. It's not in 4 weeks. It's in 2 weeks. And I will be sending the guitar on the day after to the individual that wins. I will tell you, thank you, Wyatt. I'll look forward to talking to you. I will tell you that there's a very nice amount of tickets that have been sold, and we need to sell a few more. Okay, so yes, I have news on the Doji rebates. Okay, my source, and this is not me violating anything. My source says it's before the end of the month. That's what I'm hearing. So keep your fingers crossed on that. But there could be other things that are going to happen before that. Okay. So, guys, get ready to rock and roll. I love you all. I really do. And remember, what the world needs now is love. Beatles said it both. Love, love, love. Love is all you need. But I really do love you guys. I love my partners in crime. I love Fascinating Brian and Doc G, Doc Wiedemann, the Patch Ladies. I love them. They're great. All the people who appear on the show, Wyatt, Debbie, Kent Dunn. Love you guys. I love you all. It's been a very productive ride and very stimulating for me. And if you need patches in Australia, get a hold of Wyatt. Okay. And if you don't have Wyatt's email, send me an email at chancemusic@yahoo.com. I'll send you over to Wyatt, and he will get you going with the patches in Australia. And I guess I got nothing more to say tonight. We ran on here for almost 2 hours, and we miss you, Wyatt. Come back anytime you want. We miss the girls and Dr. Wiedemann. He didn't show up tonight, but anyway, I love you all. I'm Chance McFadden. You know who you are. I'll see you Sunday on the Chqnces Chat private Telegram group. Okay, you can retain your thyroid in 70 days using liquid iodine. J. Crow's Luglo's solution number 5. Oh, email that to me, Ruthie. Email that. I want some of that. I got to order some. Thank you. What's your final comment, Wyatt? You got a final comment, Wyatt?
Everybody wants to know about the Doge.
Yeah.
Of course. Yep. The focus is on linearity, of course.
Yep. Well, the girls, we miss them. It's bad enough you got us 3 guys here on here, but it's nice to see a couple pretty faces on once in a while. So we'll look forward to seeing you next week, girls. I love you all. My name's Chance McFadden, and this is Fascinating Brian and Doc G, and this is Chance's Chat. And we will see you next week, same time, same station. God bless you all.
Good night,
Bye, everybody.